Hey, Gloucester Township. I'm Joe Allen. This is Keith Gibbons.
How you doing?
It's the GT Observer podcast. This week we missed a meeting, so
We did. Summertime's tough, everybody's busy with things, and there's a lot going on with the sewer sale, and it's just really tough to get time together. We do this on our own when we have free time, and unfortunately some time passed between meetings, but we're going to make it up to you guys. We're going to do a double header.
yeah, been cramming in all those flushes before it gets expensive. So,
Yeah. Non-stop flushing our toilets.
Everything in the house, everything we're not using, we're just flushing it. So the August 12th meeting was a short meeting. I think one guy went to it.
Yeah, I was not there for the 12th.
So I got through doing all the questions, and I was like, that's basically just one guy. It's just him asking questions.
Yeah.
And then the the Smithman thing. But they started off the August 12th meeting with GT Police were celebrating their volunteers.
Yes.
Giving
What do they
thanks.
call it, the Resident Police Academy or something like that, right?
They do. They do that. They do that. I forget what the actual name of it
I
is
know,
now.
it's escaping me. at the moment.
Yeah, I just watched Citizens Police Academy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Paul Krug, who used to do
He had
do some
gone
stuff
through
with
it.
us. He
So it was
went
really
through
great.
it and said it was and had a lot of great things to say about it. And if I had the time, there's a lot of retired folks in there that are doing it, but it sounds like a really cool program. I would love to have the time to do it. But they talked about those. They swore in 2 new volunteers, so they take their volunteers seriously here.
Yeah.
Swear them in so they can. I guess they go through a process because, like the chief was saying, police officers go through a big process to be able to do some of the things they do with background checks and stuff like that. And I guess they do that for the volunteers that they use. So that was a part of the beginning of the meeting there to kick off the meeting. Not a whole lot really going on in that meeting.
No, we did the no turn on red from Jarvis Road. Is that that sign that was passed as a ordinance?
Still baffled by that one because I drove out there just to look and see how obstructed it was because it's kind of like, I don't know, it's just one of those intersections where I feel like if you don't turn on red, everybody's behind you waiting for you to turn on red. So I looked and I was like, if we just trim some bushes over there, not even bushes, just like straggly trees that are sitting out there, we don't need...
Is it on like a public easement or is it on somebody's actual
It's like
property?
a public easement. So it's behind like a privacy fence and there's a space back there and it's just just could be cleaned up. And I thought, why put in... I don't know. Why pass an ordinance when we can just clean that up and then, less people to be ticketed and, So that was, they passed that.
You can also now be ticketed, though, for if you have a bed and breakfast, right?
Yeah, so that was, I guess that was added to the
short-term rental.
No short-term rental thing, which doesn't make sense at all to me because the point of the short-term rental was you're not going to give somebody... Look, this all started because people were renting out their house for like the weekend, and then there was big massive parties, and it just got out of control. But when you think about a bed and breakfast, the homeowner's there.
Joe, you can't.
Like, the homeowner's
there's some
there.
reason. Somebody had a reason for it, but
so it's basically just it's like if you have people staying over your house, but they're paying you to stay there for the weekend or whatever. You're kind of tending to them.
Yeah.
That didn't make sense to me at all. That seems like I don't know. That kind of crossed.
Nothing's by accident. It's all done for a specific reason. We don't know what that reason is, but they want to stop something,
Maybe I guess the mayor. Maybe he's gonna go. Maybe he's gonna open up his own B&B and he doesn't want competition.
They would not ban it. That's wrong.
He wants to ban the competition.
Ban the competition.
Yeah.
It's only available at this address. Yeah, but
anyway,
so then this moved into our E-GOV section where people send in questions to council to read. And you want to play this clip here? It's number 1 here.
Yeah.
Trish Reichert at 1012 Melrose Avenue. In a patch article from today, Council President Mercado answered stated the following. If the referendum passes, the Township of New Jersey American Water will execute the sale. The process typically takes about 6 months with a closing estimated for the end of June 2025. Mercado said, But if the referendum fails, the sale won't happen unless council decides to commence a new procurement process in the future, Mercado said. My question is, what exactly do you mean by unless council decides to commence a new procurement process in the future? Does the residents voting against the sale on November 5th not matter? Are you saying council is just going to find another way to sell it to American Water?
Yes.
Please
yes.
clarify your statement, quote Mr. Mercado. If the referendum does not pass, Ms. Reichert, November 2024, the agreement of sale will not be executed and the sale process will not move forward this year. Council may or may not decide to initiate a new procurement at some point in the future. So that is an option.
Yeah, so that's talked about again, I believe, in the next council meeting.
Well, it was brought up at the public hearing.
Yeah.
It was brought up here during this E-GOV, which I'm assuming the timing of it is why it wasn't read the last time that there was a public hearing. It probably got in after 12 o'clock cutoff time or whatever. That person didn't know that. So that's why it was kind of brought up again here. But again, it does bring up the point that they are being asked, if the people vote no, are you actually going to listen to them? And they're kind of saying, well, we're not claiming anything. We're not saying that we're not going to. We're just saying if council decides to do that, that is a possibility, which isn't a lie, but it's also, you could say if you meant that you really want the people's voice to be heard, that if the people's voice was heard, that's it. We heard you guys and that's it. But instead, they're saying, no, we're not going to lie and say that that's it. It's possible that we could find another way to do it. So it's kind of telling, the response, in my opinion, And again, actually, to clarify something also, that for the record, everything that we say here is our opinion, folks. It's not like we have a fact that's stated they're definitely going to sell it because of the way that they answered that question. That's our opinion of what we see,
I mean, we've been pretty good with guessing. So, but we are good with guessing. We played the clip last podcast from from May 2nd, 2023.
Called it,
but and definitely called it. But
yeah. So anyway, so that was asked again. So then the one gentleman that did go up and ask a lot of questions this meeting here, where Joe's saying there was only one person show.
It's the David show, yeah.
David Leader is he's been a pretty mainstay regular anymore at meetings. He's been getting involved and asking a lot of questions. So here was one question. After
the July 22nd, 24 council meeting, I spoke with the council president about increasing the second public portion from 30 minutes to at least 60 minutes. President Mercado agreed to bring this up to council at the council planning meeting that occurs in January 2025. I thank you. I just wanted this discussion to be on the record. Mr. Leader grabbed me here at the end of that meeting and indicated is it possible that we can have additional time for a public portion. We currently have 15 minutes for the first public portion on agenda items, 30 minutes for the second public portion. When we have our reorganization of council, which takes place in January, that is when those changes are made.
Yeah. That doesn't mean I don't believe that they couldn't make a change to something. Because if somebody went up there and did something that they didn't like, I guarantee you that they would make a change mid-year to the rules. You know what I mean? So
yeah. That and it's also never gonna happen.
It's never gonna happen. No, it literally doesn't happen. Where it's been brought up by I think Sam Sweet and others. That like, hey, the E-GOV section, we send the questions in, and then you guys vote and then read our, responses. Where we could have brought something up that was supposed to be voted on. However, you decided you're going to read them after the vote already happened, so reading the question is kind of pointless at that point in time. They still say, nope, that's exactly how we're going to keep it. Oh, well.
Yeah, the only thing I fear about it going to an hour long.
That is a little.
There are some people that show up that just talk about nothing that has anything to do with the township. They just need somebody to talk to, basically.
I don't think it should be a set time that it is there for. However, I feel like if people still had questions about things, new people, I'm saying, like say that there was a hot topic like that, and there were 20 people that all raised their hand in that meeting. Just this would be like a dream, you know what I mean? Like that many people actually came to a meeting and actually cared enough to get up there and talk. But if that did happen, under the rules now, you're basically saying, nope, don't want to hear it, see you later. Where I know other towns where it's like, hey, everybody that wants to talk, go line up. You can stand up in line here. You have 5 minutes and, speak your piece. So that, in that case, if there were 20 people that wanted to talk, they all could have their voices heard. In the system or rules or whatever you want to say that we have now, it's basically shut up, sit down, and that's it.
Yeah, maybe you show up with 100 people in the room.
Yeah, hope that I called you out of all the people.
All want to talk. 6 people get shot.
Yeah,
that's it. And that's where I think that we could extend it. But a lot of people. Then again, you get some of those meetings where if they let you get some of the unlimited time meetings we've seen where if they let everybody in the room come up, it's kind of like now that the 5th person's up there with the same thing that the last.
Yeah, no, I totally understand it, but from somebody wanting to have their voice heard, even if they're repeating something that somebody else said and they feel that they needed to say it a different way, I feel like they do have that right. I mean, it might be redundant, like you're saying, but why did they not have that right to say something?
But I think everybody should at least get one chance to speak.
On that same kind of note, like there's a lot of people that feel like they don't know what's going on, and David also asks that question: How do you know?
How can the public be notified of press releases and public announcements? Clerk said nixle from police, but not happening. Clerk said press notified, i.e. the chief, mayor, and other dignitaries about Gloucester Township Day. I would have attended. The township advises the public about news and announcements in a variety of ways. The Gloucester Township's website, our Facebook page, a Twitter feed, an Instagram site. The mayor has a weekly newsletter called GT Works.
I've never
and
seen
those
it.
archives can be found on the township's website under the mayor's weekly newsletter. Also, a resume also received the newsletter weekly in their inbox by signing up with the township's Nixle service at the same webpage. Regarding the Gloucester Township press conference that took place regarding Gloucester Township Day, the mayor attended. That was arranged by the 4th District legislators, Senator Moriarty, Assemblyman Hutchinson, and Assemblyman Cody Miller. Any advisories concerning that press conference were handled by the local legislative office.
Okay. So the
I don't know that you find too much information. If you follow all of the things that he mentioned, you don't really find out.
You'll know when the Easter Bunny's coming.
Yeah, you'll know when the Easter Bunny's coming.
You'll know when Santa's coming.
And then you'll get a really positive spin on everything, regardless of whether or not it's positive. Yeah, we can't inform people like adults on there. So you're probably better off
Subscribing.
Yes.
Subscribe to our channel.
Yeah. If you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube page, and then like us on Facebook, and we're on Twitter too, or X.
X, yeah.
So we're there, and we're gonna go find their page on X, and we'll
do that.
We'll stalk them so you can
retweet,
check that out. Yeah,
re-X whatever they whatever they have on there, but yeah, hit the notification buttons too, also, guys, because we don't do this exactly on a regular basis. We try, but we don't always. And there's stuff that pops up in between where somebody's out on the street doing some kind of a coverage and something you might want to hear. So just make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notifications. Turn them on so we get all notifications. So
yeah, part 4 of the David Leader Show was his question about the director of the sewer utility.
Let's play that clip.
Why was Gabrielle Mosquera, who's the director of sewer division, not present to discuss the sale of the sewer division? Ms. Mosquera reports to the business administrator. There's no need to have the director of sewer department to be present at the hearing to answer questions about the sale, since the director is not involved with the process of the sale.
I mean, it makes sense. I think his question, I think it stems from a concern that a lot of people have brought up about her qualifications in the field of sewer management or sewer.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's it makes me think that I could go for any position in Gloucester Township and fill that position, regardless of my experience, depending on who I know.
well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But it was, Councilwoman Garcia, or what's her name?
Oh yeah, that's
So she had brought up the point that, hey, she could go be a principal of a school because I've never taught before, but
man,
I have the certification to do that, so I could go do that. And I mean, I understand the point. A good leader or something like, could fill any type of a role. I think the question was, is she a good leader? Is kind of not David leader.
Yeah.
Is she a good leader as far as, hey, does she show up to vote when she's voted in by the people to, vote on different things in her assembly position? Or does she have the absolute worst record of the assembly in her attendance?
If she were a good leader, I think that we probably would have heard something from her anywhere, for any position she's ever been.
Not even just us. How about her employees that are there that they didn't hear anything? They asked for meetings, and her response was, "What's it about? What do you want to meet about?"
Can you send your questions in?
Whatever it is, I'm your boss. Come talk to me. That's what I would imagine.
That's what a leader would say. Not send your questions in.
Send your questions
and I'll
in,
have somebody answer them.
Yeah.
Because they gave me this job for I don't know. I just like they had to fill a spot temporarily. I guess because I guess in their mind, this is sold, and they need somebody in that seat temporarily until it's sold to just be the yes man or the yes woman.
This is all what I heard. I don't know this to be fact, but from what I understand, there was like a board of the MUA that was told that, okay, this guy Ray Carr, I believe his name was
I've heard his name.
Going to be the director for the MUA. So when he was being made the director of the MUA is at the point of time when they were going to dissolve this. So it was kind of like went hand in hand. Hey, we're going to dissolve the MUA, but because we're going to dissolve, we're going to make him the director of that. That's what I understand. I don't even know if that's how it works, but this is what the story as I understood it. So that happened. The board then voted, yes, we'll allow the dissolution type of thing, and then council votes on it to dissolve it, or vice versa. I don't know which order came first, but the board voted under the impression that this guy Carr was going to be the director. Once it was finalized, he was sort of forced, air quoting, forced out of that position, and then she was kind of inserted into that position. That's what I understand from what I've been told. I don't know that to be true, but I feel like that's where a lot of the hostility comes from. Workers that are, not. I don't know if it's just worker. I think it's just in general. That's what people's hostility was. Is that this other guy that had all the certifications and everything else for that role was kind of pushed out. Again, all hearsay. It's not a fact. I'm just stating what I heard.
And replaced by somebody who has absolutely no experience. Not only not certified, but no experience.
Yeah. So David Leader asks, I don't think we have a clip of this, do we here? He asked why is the mayor only seen in like happy pictures and positive things? And
yeah, I mean it's the mayor is fantastic at making this perception that everything is happy and smiley and
I'm a smiley guy. Like
I show up for the pictures. He got rid of the he killed off the creepy porn stash from that he had way back in the day, and now he's smiley friendly Dave, and comes out and does his pictures, and that's what people think about when they go and vote, is they think about happy smiley mayor, and he's always doing good stuff, man. We don't ever talk about the bad stuff. We don't ever talk about it's not that we don't talk about bad stuff.
He does do good things. We're not taking that away.
100%. I mean,
definitely does do good things, a lot of great things, but there are also the things that we talk about, and bring up.
Yeah, my point is that we kind of ignore any of the stuff that's concerns for citizens.
Right.
We don't talk about that stuff.
Right. So if you don't talk about it, then it's so the ignorance of it makes it the perception be. Yeah, I mean everything's honky dory. That's like
the sewers.
Re-elect me.
The sewers are great. It's a great example.
Yeah.
Because now for this is the one moment where people are I see all these signs. I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah.
And that's it's just one of the things. Nobody's talked about it. They had to see the signs to do it, and it took 1,000 signs to get people to go, what that's all about.
Yeah. So, well, people are asking. They are asking. So that's a good thing. All right. So we move on to someone else, Mary Hendricks. Kind of asked how Gabby gets a job. So we're kind of going back a little topic here.
Yep.
But
Good evening, Council. My name's Mary Hendricks. Is it their practice to always hire somebody who is not, let's say, not capable, don't know the workings of the MUA? My understanding was she was a senator or whatever, or council person or something in Washington Township. She had some office, and she was also worked in the mayor's office. So how can she be promoted to a job like that, MUA, when she has no experience, no idea about the working system of the MUA? It just seems like, wouldn't that be for somebody else in the realm of the utility to take on? Somebody who works there, knows the working components, who knows how the department works and how to handle it and how to approach their employees.
one might wonder that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm glad that somebody else that we don't know is asking the same questions. Like, who is this woman that took over this director job?
Yeah.
So,
was that the
maybe she would have cleaned out a
meeting?
couple sewers in her day before becoming the director? But
She's flushed a toilet before, Joe. So,
so like I said, I'm in line.
You can do
line.
it. Is this the meeting though where Councilwoman Garcia?
Oh,
Love.
God.
Is it not the hyphen now? Garcia Love? Great.
yeah.
Grace? So is this the one where she said about the principal? That
Yes.
was a really long clip that
Man.
you had cut down because she went on. She spent.
Oh,
her
I
whole 5
didn't
minutes
clip any of their
response to it.
At the end. Yeah, Miss Hendricks, when she asked about after that, she said, what are you guys out in the community? And I think what she meant out in the community was, are you out talking to people, finding out what they think about different things? And that got taken to, when she went that route, like, how engaged are you with the people? And then, I think
Defenses went up and
yeah, I think Jim
Very
Nash
defensive.
started out and talked about I thought he said like 600 different kids he's coached through football or something like that. Maybe it's 300. I forget. But or 13. I think he's been coaching for like 13 years or something like that. Like, he started out with that he's been in the community. We know Mignon's been in the community with baseball, and then Caroline Grace went into this thing about all of her certifications, and she's taking phone calls from residents all the time, and she's never actually given us her number to call.
Yeah, I mean,
any concerns, but she takes.
I don't question any of their involvement in the in the community at all. I don't. So I'm not sure where that woman's line of questioning was coming from, or where it was meant to go, or why she was asking it. But I don't think you can claim any of them aren't involved in anything. You might not agree with them for whatever reason on something, but I don't think you can fairly say that they're not involved. They're public servants I don't know, as it gets, you know what I mean? So
yeah, they've all had even back to the first time that I ran against them in 2021. Looking at the resumes, I thought, well, these are good people that just they're good people that make bad decisions sometimes. Or not even, and it's not even. I think
I don't know if they make the bad decisions. I don't think. Well, how do you phrase that properly?
Well, people get the perception that we think, and that they do vote in a certain way to benefit some machine behind the scenes, like that they're sat down and they're told, this is the thing that we're going to have this week, and you are going to vote yes on this. People have had that perception that that's what happens, And I think some people think that that's what we thought too, and it's not.
It's not necessarily that there's an actual physical meeting sat down and said, this is what you're going to vote. The way it happens is it's understood that, hey, this is going to be presented to council and this needs to pass. In order for this to happen, you all need to vote yes. You know what I mean? Your job is to help the town keep moving along, whether it's, paying bills or, whatever the things are. So anything that's on the agenda is put on there, and you just kind of understand that this is what wants to happen. So unless you disagree with something for whatever the reason is, you're going to vote yes just naturally. You know what I mean? So unless you've dug in and questioned, like, hey, what's this piece of property here that we're selling? Why are we selling this? Who owns it? Who's on it right now? Why is it vacant? I thought that there was something building on that thing. There's all kinds of things that unless you dug into it and kind of know or have a reason to go in there and look into it, you would just think everything's above par and then just vote yes. And you're like, oh yeah, we could use that. We're not using that. I'm trusting that what I'm being told is the reason that we need to sell.
Yeah, that's it.
It's unused property. They could use it for our trash or whatever else. And you're like, well, hold on a second, right? We're renting this thing out, so it's listed right now as vacant. Whatever the deal is, it's not. They don't have because the perception of Mr. Smiley guy being out there for good things, everything must be good. That's on the paper, and that's kind of I feel like where a new member of council might just be, look, everything's roses. I don't know. I got funding for football fields and soccer fields and whatever else where I was involved in. It's all good, but where does that come from, or what did it do, or what's the who's, I don't know. There's a lot of different things that when you dig into things, you understand what the machine is. The machine isn't something that goes out there and has those meetings that says this is what you need to do. It's just the way that it all works, and it's an idea versus a physical or well, I mean, it is organized, but
it's one big team.
I don't know how to describe what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying.
It's one big team, and they all trust each other. So there's nothing is ever questioned, because you don't want to be that person that kind of says, hey, I kind of want to break this trust a little bit and ask questions about this.
Right.
So, nobody's saying that they are told specifically on each individual thing how they need to vote. But I think there's a level of trust that they don't want to break within each other, because they are one close team. So where there are no outsiders. So that's what we're saying is and that's what we've been saying for years. We just want some outsiders to come in there.
I think that's how things work best when things are questioned and
or just individuals. Ultimately, we just want 7 individuals with individual opinions.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. So that was pretty much that meeting. We moved on to the August 26th meeting, and it started off with a straw poll about resurfacing tennis courts to become pickleball courts, which were in the Timber Cove, I think it is.
That was Timber Cove, yeah.
Proposal from Pettit and Associates regarding engineering services for the Timber Cove Park, a resurface of the tennis and court and basketball court. We obtained a local recreation improvement grant to retrofit the existing tennis court to a combination tennis pickleball court, and to resurface existing tennis and basketball courts with asphalt overlay and apply acrylic surface with court stripings and markings. Pettit Group is our recreational engineer, so I need a straw poll to approve this, in the cost of $12,500 for design, bid, construction, and meetings and conferences regarding this project.
So, for $12,000, we got pickleball courts.
Well, hold on. Exactly. That's what started my entire park tour thing, where somebody brought up Point Ariel Park already has lines for pickleball. We could just redo that. Why are we spending $500,000 to put pickleball courts in? And we were basically told that's a bad idea. You can't do that. That court's in such bad shape. And I'm like, I don't know that it is. Let me go out there, and that's where I got my camera. And I'm like, I don't know where the rest of these parks are. So if you guys want any more information on that, go to our playlist for some videos you might not have seen. I tour every single park and put them all on video. You can kind of see the condition and what we call a park, or what you might call just a piece of ground next to a swamp. But
Swamp, yeah, with some nice rocks, and I remember specifically when the pickleball mafia came from like Deptford, and they were in our meetings. And I remember Joe D'Amico went up there and said, "Can't we just redraw lines on some of the tennis courts that we aren't using to dual purpose?" And the pickleball people were like, "You can't do that. That's not what you can't."
No.
And now I'm like, this is what we're doing now.
Right.
So now that we have the $500,000 pickleball court with the $30,000 bridge in front of it, they have now we're resurfacing tennis courts and basketball courts combined for $12,000 instead of $500,000. So we were told we couldn't do it.
That's engineering, materials, labor, everything all in.
Really expensive rocks around that bridge.
So yeah, you could get maybe two different parks with pickleball courts or a bridge. Which one do you want?
Imagine that. For the cost of one bridge, we just redid 2 parks.
Yeah, it's crazy. So anyway, that moved on to.
I know one of them are watching this right now.
Who?
Council, and they're going. That bridge isn't $30,000.
Okay, prove it's not. I mean, come on, we have the receipts.
Look,
these receipts are provided.
I can't believe that the bridge is $30,000 either. Like, I think that there's something else involved in that quote, but it's funny at this point. Because
it's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. It drives them nuts, which is even better. But
all right, so they also did they added 2 spots to the do not block the box ordinance, and that's it's basically in front of that one of them is in front of the fire station on Blackwood Clementon Road, and I think the other one might be Choose. Basically,
I don't understand the one on Blackwood Clementon Road. Like, there's no traffic stops. It never backs up to where that is. Like, I don't know what that's going to accomplish. I guess it's if they're pulling trucks in or out. But I thought even that doesn't have a back door. They come drive right through. I don't know. Maybe not. But either way, so that was passed for 2 new spots. What was the other one you said? I'm sorry.
I forget now. I thought it was Choose. Maybe it was Choose.
Oh yeah, it could have been Choose.
But, basically it's that big X, the big box with the
right,
X
so
in
if
it.
you're in traffic, you don't stop.
Yeah, you don't stop in the box. That way, if the trucks have to come out, they can come straight out.
Right.
So we added 2 of those. I wasn't sure if people actually knew what do not block the box. It turns out later that some people don't know about crosswalks either. So I figured we'd bring this up and, yeah.
Yeah.
So. Outside of that, too. We had a... Back to the MUA, we had it was a sidebar agreement made between the Teamsters 500 Union and GT to continue employment for the members working for the former MUA.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a small clip just mentioning it.
Next, resolution 2408-298, resolution authorizing the execution of the sidebar agreement to the collective negotiations agreement between the Township of Gloucester and Teamsters Union Local 500. May I have a motion, please? I'll take the first and second. Thank you. Down there. On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Mignon?
Yes.
Mrs. Albert Troxel?
Yes.
Mr. Nash?
Yes.
Mrs. Walters?
Yes.
Mrs. Winters? Mr. Mercado?
Yes, Mr. Cars, thank you for your work on that. I do appreciate it. Well,
Mr. Cardis has been busy doing a lot of work.
Yeah. We should cut out the votes on all the clips when we cut them because unless they're all yes, they're always yes. So, like, do you really need to hear that they all are?
Yeah,
That one time that there's a no vote, we'll cut it. We'll clip it for you. But there was that little Cardis bit at the end there where he's asking, "Thank you for your work on that."
I'd like to animate it a little bit with little check boxes. Just go and we'll just do fast forward check boxes, But I can do that. I can work on that. But so like that, we don't really know the details on what the agreement was. We do know that I guess it guarantees employment for anyone that was involved in the sewer utility.
So you're right, and this is my personal opinion of why this needed to be passed and why they did the sidebar agreement. So if you go back probably 2 weeks or so ago, there was that survey that was going out that we have up on our website. If you go to GT Observer, you can see the survey, the text survey that was going out to people, and it's asking questions about it. And so they took a lot of the different things that we were bringing up as I'll say negative points to selling the MUA, and they took from that and said, wait, people are really concerned about the employees of the MUA. I know all the times that they've come up here and begged to have a conversation about it, we've just basically just flipped you off and said, nope, we're not doing it. Gabby asked what are your questions? I'll answer them that way, but not meet with you. And just a lot of a lot of hostility, it felt like, towards that. Like, I remember, Carter saying, like, you needed to, like, why do we need to meet with them? We don't even know what the outcome's going to be. Why would we meet with them? We don't know. Troxel basically saying, well, I would have went to my president, and saying, basically they said, you need to file a grievance in order for us to sit there and meet with you. But now all of a sudden they made this agreement because that survey had come out, and I don't know this was a fact. This is my opinion of what, from observations that I've made.
I forgot about the survey. Yeah.
So they saw that was a hot topic. They put this out for, to pass in a council meeting. That the following day after this is the 26th, go onto the township's website. On the 27th, they put on there a bullet point list of great benefits of selling the MUA, and one of them is that we're going to keep employment for employees in town. Are we stupid? I mean, seriously, are we? Is that? I mean, I know this isn't a fact. I'm stating my opinion, but are we stupid? Like, come on. Thank you for all your hard work on that, Mr. Cardis. So I don't know. The to me, it's obvious.
The spot to begin with.
The intent to or the desire to sell is there, and they're working alongside of whoever sent that survey out to get that out. It's not a coincidence that went out there, because they could not put that bullet point on that list of great things if they didn't pass that the night before. So just magically somehow Tuesday.
I didn't think of that part. Yeah,
No?
I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
But
I was a long-winded,
I guess
thing I went off on there. Sorry about that.
that might have. I don't know. I think that slowed down any of the movement from the union side of things.
That I don't know. We'll have to find out.
Yeah,
I guess
in
the coming weeks. There was a woman that got punched in the face. So this was an E-GOV that was sent in, right? Let me see.
Yeah.
This is the crosswalk.
This is the crosswalk one. Yeah.
Here.
This is from Monica Hodson at 102 Elaine Avenue in Blackwood. Is there anything the council can do to improve the safety of pedestrians at East Railroad Avenue and West Church Street crosswalk? This crosswalk is a part of the walking trail. I'm an active person who likes to walk and was elated to find a trail next to my new home back in 2020. Today, I do not hold that same feeling for the trail. Numerous times, even with children, at that specific crosswalk, I have almost been hit by a speeding driver who ignores the flashing lights, the yield to pedestrian signs, and actual people trying to cross the street. More recently, during a walk on the trail, a speeding vehicle had to swerve to avoid hitting myself and my spouse. When I yelled that the sign clearly shows pedestrians have the right of way, the passenger of the vehicle that almost struck us exited said vehicle and punched me in the face. The driver also exited the vehicle and stated that they were not at a crosswalk, that she doesn't see a stop sign. As you can see, our community members are not only at risk for being struck by a speeding driver, but also the risk of being involved in a road rage incident that could end badly.
If the drivers around here suck, and they can't.
Man.
They can't. There's big yellow signs. There's crosswalks. There's flashing lights, and they just think because there's no stop sign there that you don't have to stop for that.
Well, yeah. So it's not always somebody there crossing, but I mean, I always stop for it because I've used that and I've gone through that and I know what that's like using that crossway there. My daughter, like every day of her being like, I would take her for, walk in a stroller down the bike path, and we would go and try to cross that street right there. Like, you literally almost get hit any time that you go there. They've had like the what are they called? It's like a pole that goes in the ground and is up, and people still just drive right past, right over top of it. But like anything in the street there doesn't stop people because they're coming around a big turn, going up up a hill, and they're just going. It's a really bad intersection there. I don't know what else you can do other than putting in like a pedestrian overpass, which would be a fortune to do as well.
The only thing that I took away from that, but looking at the pictures on there, was that it's got the little person, it's got the bicycle, and then it's the triangle, which means pedestrian, yield to pedestrians.
Uh-huh.
But I've seen signs that say you must yield to pedestrians in crosswalk. It doesn't actually say yield to pedestrians in crosswalk. So I guess maybe if you're a driver who doesn't know anything about driving, Maybe.
It doesn't do anything about driving.
Maybe you don't know
Yeah.
because it doesn't clearly say you must yield to pedestrians in crosswalk. And we could just swap the signs out to say you must yield to pedestrians in the crosswalk. That is a thing. I mean, I've seen those signs.
It is. We've also been told though that signs like that are a distraction, and we don't want to distract people. You know, remember with the kids outside, the drive like your kids play here thing. That I believe it was David Leader actually brought up a couple times, and they're
I don't
like,
like
"Yeah,
those signs."
that's a distraction." But there is a problem there. I don't know what the best way to address it is, but this poor person was,
Punched
struck
in
by,
the face.
Yeah, by somebody
Almost
with a
run
road
over
rage.
and then punched in the face.
It's just sad that that's how, whatever. I mean, that has nothing to do with council or any person like that. It's just a sucky incident.
Yeah,
That's
but if
sorry
you
that
didn't
happened.
know, and there's a crosswalk with the little signs and everything else, you've got to yield to the best pedestrians in the
Yeah.
crosswalk. So now you know.
Yeah, I mean, I go driving down that street, I still see it. Like when somebody's on the side of the street with a bicycle or something, and you're just watching car after car come flying past, you're like, what's so hard to stop for somebody that's going? They have the right of way there. Like, and then if they walk out in front of a car, they're just going to get hit. The person's not going to stop them.
And the only thing that gets me and I get nervous when I come up on those because I see them and I think, all right, I'm gonna stop for this person, but then I'm like, is the idiot behind me going to run into the back of me now if I stop for this person?
Yeah.
Because
They don't think to stop there. All right, so we moved on to another. Oh, this is an in-person question. So Ray Polidoro gets up there and he has concerns about the New Jersey American Water Vote Yeses campaign. So
Vote Yes, GloucesterTownship.com is a website encouraging people to vote yes. There's a lot of real fuzzy and funny information on there. It just so happens you can't find out who owns that website. The fact that it mentioned that our taxes will go down and keep taxes in check would lead me to believe that that's not something New Jersey American Water put up because they have no business talking about our taxes. Therefore, do you have any knowledge as to who or what PAC, in the best of your knowledge, is responsible for this website that is encouraging people to vote yes for their bills to go skyrocketing for somebody else to own our sewer?
That is American Water website. It is not funded by.
And they're talking about our taxes. That seems like it's none of their business.
That is their website.
I mean, I understand. Well, go ahead.
no, this is a really good point here that the American Water is saying they're making a lot of promises, and even the township is making a lot of promises about what will happen if this sewer is sold. And none of these promises can even happen. Regardless, if the sewer is sold next year, if that happens, none of this stuff can happen unless the stuff that are being promised is voted on by council.
That's true. But I don't necessarily agree with Ray's questioning of council on this particular topic. And the reason why is because, and it's a good reason, but they are saying that the taxes will go down, and they're citing what was said at a council meeting on August 8th, which was the public hearing.
Yeah.
And the reason that I know that that's what they're citing is because multiple people have sent me New Jersey American Water's response to a question that they had sent in to New Jersey American Water on that website, where it's like, hey, do you have questions? Ask us questions. So they're like, how can you sit there and say anything about our taxes? We have nothing to do with taxes. And then they quote what was said at a council meeting at this timestamp. However, if you go back and listen to the timestamp, it was never said that they were going to lower taxes. But again, to the whole passing of the thing with the Teamsters Union, and then the following day that bullet point list of things came up. Mm-hmm. Now our township website is stating in writing that its intent is to lower taxes if the sale goes through. So now New Jersey American Water has something to claim that they're, you know what I mean, that they're, the township was going to lower taxes. They say it right on this thing right here. However, that entire bullet point list of things is, we have a video on that if you want to go watch that. There's opinions about about that. But to your point, it can't happen unless council votes on it. So their promises are pretty pointless, or I don't know what you'd say.
Yeah, you can't
promise something that you can't, like, it's not the we don't have the money yet. that might be your intent to do with it, but there are actually, I don't know if this is a part here we could segue into, but it's not on our agenda here, but there are people trying to, or people are being told, like, this is what's going to happen if it sells. We're going to get $10 to $15 million for you for all the sports teams. So we need to get all the parents together, and we're going to get this here. We need to help get this, get the vote out. So that's a form of trying to to swing in one particular way. I don't know what your thoughts are about that, but that doesn't sound good to me.
No, it certainly doesn't, because they're trying to buy these votes.
Yeah, by promises that they can't promise.
Trying to get people that are heads of different, youth organizations to push this out as being a good thing, because if they do and it wins and they sell the sewer, then those organizations that have been promised money now for things that they want. So we've got people in our administration that are making phone calls to basically buy votes, and it's just.
So a little off topic there, but Ray, I guess his point is valid that they shouldn't be doing that. However, if it's not the township website, so they can't really control what somebody else puts up there. So that's why I don't necessarily agree with his line of questioning on that. Understood? Yeah. Fair.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
There's nothing council can do
right
about what American Water claims.
Right.
But American Water is claiming it because it's a safe bet here. That's why. So it does kind of come back to council and how things just get through.
All right. So David Leader asks a good question. This was kind of on the topic.
Ray asked about Troxel also.
Oh, I'm sorry. What happened? Oh, so she was absent during the vote.
She was. She was not there for the vote to put this on the referendum, and we thought, oh, that's kind of convenient.
Yeah.
You're up for re-election in November. You didn't show up to vote. So I feel, Ray was like, well, hey, how would you have voted?
Yeah. But she can still claim she did not vote yes on it, though.
But
she was on record saying 100%.
Council President, if I may ask Ms. Troxel, who was not here for that vote, how she would have voted on that particular second reading of the sale of the sewer moving forward.
If Ms. Troxel wants to answer that, she may.
I would have voted yes, because I feel that the people in this township have the opportunity. It's important for them to have the opportunity, whether they want to vote it down or up.
Okay. And all the work was done by you guys to put that on the referendum.
Pardon?
Thank you for you guys did all. You dissolved the MUA. You put it up for bid. Now you're putting it in the hands of people, and all the work was already done. It's sold. That I was just interested in how you would have.
It's already sold.
I'm sorry.
You're telling me it's already sold.
No. It's just.
You're telling me something.
No, all the work is done for the sale. When the beginning, it was already dissolved by this body, and that's all. Thank you for your time, and I hope not to have to get up again.
Who is that? Timmy.
That is hilarious. Tim Pfeffer would not sell our sewer.
They call him and say, Tim, would you have sold our sewer? Oh, I would sell your sewer? All right, good.
Yeah. So, that's a little plug in there, I guess, for Tim Pfeffer.
Our friend Tim, I asked him if he would come on here and do an interview for us eventually before Election Day. So Tim will
once I get around to that one,
come on here and do some interviews. We have to get some school people interviews in here too.
Yeah, I'll have to bail out.
School board folks, I'll have to get a co-host to sit in here.
All right. So after we established that she would definitely have voted yes, David Leader asks about the setup of the council meetings. We were talking earlier about here, let's play this clip.
One of the things I wanted to talk about was, I see a lectern over there. You folks are up on the dais. You stare down at the people here who are trying to represent themselves in the township. I think it would be more comfortable for me, I don't know about other speakers, if that lectern were to be here. I'd like to have my notebook in front of me. I'm going to switch to a laptop. I'd like to have that in front of me while I'm speaking.
Yeah, so I mean, it is an excellent point, and I feel like somebody else in the past brought that up. But the lectern is literally right there. It could be moved over. However, they don't want it there for whatever reason. I guess it does allow you to have notes there. You need to be. I don't know. I feel like there's maybe a feeling of like you have nothing to protect you from us, berating you. Like there can't be something in between us. Like I feel like that table that's down there actually irks them as well. Like that table's there.
Yeah, I thought about that too, and I was thinking back to other council meetings that I've watched from around the state and sometimes even around the country. And they do when
almost
speakers,
everyone
when
has
speakers go up. They go up to a lectern if they have some notes there they want to ask. They put it up there, and not only is it a little more convenient too, but there is a sense of kind of security because you're standing behind it. It's an awkward thing to go up to just a microphone on a pole. I don't know. I've always found that awkward to go up there to wherever you can go up to. You can go up to a little podium and speak. It's just there's a comfort factor, and I feel like they don't want that comfort factor. Maybe they can change our minds by just putting that up there for us to make us feel more comfortable. I mean, that'd be a huge help.
Yeah. But with the actions that we typically see, do you think that is going to take place?
I don't, but I think that there's some people might be a little more receptive to some needs. So maybe they'll watch the podcast and they go, it's not a big deal to put that up there to give people a little bit of sense of security, and then put it up there. It's not that big of a deal.
Okay. Well, the ultimate decision is going to have to come from this man here. So hold on, let's play. Can you play that clip? Hold on, folks. This one.
Oh, yes.
Are we ready for it here? Let's see.
Yeah, I gotta hit a bunch of buttons here because this one was not clipped.
Mouse. Seeing none. Oh, Mr. Smithman. Sorry about that.
Just gotta put our camera down from recording.
Hello, good evening, Council.
Ms. Smith.
My name is Shaughnessy.
Is there a reason why you
Smithman.
moved the microphone?
It seems as though the placement of chairs in this section has been moved forward some, so I didn't want to crowd anybody in the public participating, so I moved the microphone a little bit further away.
So when you're done, can you move it back to where it was? Thank you.
If that's a request, of course, thank you.
So yeah, that 1 foot 3 inches that she moved it pissed him off so bad that he had to stop her time, take her time up by correcting where she moved the microphone. What is that? Do you have to move it back? By the way, when you're when you're done,
also,
I have the power here, not you. You can't move the microphone.
She did not move it back either.
Right.
She was.
She didn't. She left it. That was great.
I said when.
Oh, the next speaker. I don't know if we have a clip of that, but the next speaker went to go move it. You want me to move this back? And he had already forgotten. So important. He already forgot.
Yeah, I was curious though if they actually did.
Did what?
If the seats had actually moved up.
Oh, they do. Yeah, they moved around. I feel like there's another row in there that she pointed out, but I think what she was referring to is that somebody now is also sitting in that very front seat, which typically nobody sits in that front row. So she just didn't want to be close to somebody. I don't know if that's like a, whatever it is. It's her own reasoning, but all right. So David Leader also thinks that the camera angle is bad. That the council has. I don't know that we agree 100% on that, right?
Yeah.
Many towns do it that way. It's more important to see your elected officials and you just see a person there. Some do have a little bit more technology involved where there's a camera that faces the speaker when they're speaking and then it's back to the council. But we're lucky to have that, as Ray Polidoro has called it several times, their $59 webcam up on the wall. But anyway, so after that, Mr. Leader also asks them to speak into their microphones because you can't hear them. So these are all things that we've said, over the years, many, many times. What do you
I was just looking back to see that I just
Worried about what is being developed, more apartments, and more houses, and
looking back at
Even during COVID.
January, not even, it's January 10th, 2022.
Yeah.
Just how it was set up back there to see if the chairs moved. I guess the chairs moved maybe a half a foot forward. I was curious about the chairs, but look at the camera difference. So this was the old Microsoft $69 webcam that they had going on there before.
Okay.
So
what do we have now?
Now, I mean, if we go to like a clip now,
After the July 27th.
$79.
we're like, we went to $150 camera now. So
Well, your dollar's just worth
we've
less,
made drastic improvements.
huge strides.
We went from from 480p there to 1080 on this one. So we have made improvements. Mr. Leader did ask about the different camera angles because he wanted to see the people that were speaking. And I thought about that, and I thought, a lot of the council meetings that I watch, the camera is behind, so you see some of the people sitting, and then so you're looking at the back of the person speaking. And I thought, well, that's generally how most of them are.
Yeah.
And the most important thing I think is to watch is the folks that are up on council. So I like our angle. The way that it is.
I have no complaints over it.
I wish audio was better, but we did kind of prove that if you pull the mics up, the speakers, the camera, the sound that you hear on YouTube is that little camera picking it up from the speaker that's above it.
Yeah.
So if you pull the microphones forward, it works out a whole lot better.
All right. Yeah. So that was one thing, and then Ira Eckstein went up and asked about the $32,000 bridge, if they're still investigating it. It was council president again claims it wasn't that price. Ira's arguing back and forth with him saying, well, then why when I ask for the invoice, that's what it says on there? And they're like, I don't know. And then they try to discredit him and say, you never even sent that in. And the clerk, kind of jumped in and was like, no, he did ask for it, and we did give him that paper.
Oh, yeah, Tom and his...
So, yeah, he had to, be defensive about it. Like, you didn't send me an
I never got anything like that.
Yeah. All right, anyway. So, it was said that if he was wrong, he'll apologize to Ira.
Oh, man.
I don't see that coming, but we'll see. So, Denise gets up there and asks some follow-up questions on the bridge after Ira's.
The $32,000 bridge, do you think $32,000 is way too much for that bridge?
I don't believe it was $32,000.
But if it was, would $32,000 be way too much for that bridge?
So I would, if you're just talking about the material there, I would assume that $32,000.
5.5 by 8 foot pedestrian bridge. Way too much, correct?
So I'm not a contractor, but I would think that's a bit high.
Okay.
So to my understanding, and Tom, I don't know if you can confirm this, but that project was bid on, lowest bidder for 400 and something, whatever the total project was for. They also included that as a line item, some $1,000. But they were the low bidder for the entire project, and I believe that's what they listed as the line item. I don't know if we get the breakdown per detail per the line item, but at the end of the day, they were the lowest bidder for the project, for the entire project, and that was one portion of it. So if they put $5, if they put $50,000, they were still the low bidder, from my understanding, for the entire project.
Yeah, I believe it was $454,000.
Right. And of that $450,000, the bridge was part of that. So when they listed it, I think they listed it as a line item of $30-something thousand. I'm not 100% correct. But what I do believe is that that was the entire project, and that was just one item of the entire project.
Yes, line 23, I believe,
Right.
32,000.
Yeah, so, but they were the low bidder, so no matter
Okay.
what, they still got the entire project.
Yes.
I get it. And we didn't pick the high bidder that makes $32,000 bridges. We picked the low bidder who makes $32,000 bridges.
Right.
So I didn't understand the logic in that one. I mean, I knew what he was trying to say, but at the same time, that doesn't really answer that question because it is still labeled as a $32,000 bridge.
Right.
So it's almost like they came in and they were like, yeah, we can do it for this. And they're going, you guys can definitely charge more for this, And they're like, all right, the bridge is now $32,000. That's perfect. So I didn't.
At this point, it's comical.
There is at this point. I don't believe that we paid somebody if we paid somebody $32,000 for just the bridge, then a lot of people need to get removed and fired, right? I don't believe that's the case. I believe that we paid $32,000 probably for the rocks and probably on the path that goes up to it and all that stuff.
Okay, if you were landscaping your yard and you had to go get those rocks, how much do those rocks cost? Under $500?
Yeah.
Okay. So the asphalt that went up to it, that's a little bit pricey, but even at that,
it's $1 million a month.
$2,000 maybe, something like that. The bridge itself, all right. So now we're at $30,000 to put it in. I mean, I'm sure you could probably get that for under $2,000 in labor. What? Either way, it's the whole point of when we have the right to know what we spend our money on. We have the right to go ask for that receipt. When the receipt is given to us and it says $32,000 on it, and we question you about it, don't sit up there and tell us it didn't cost $32,000 because the paper that you gave us states $32,000. We're not making this up. And if we are,
it's just
it's insane. How can you sit up there and tell us that it didn't cost that money when the paper that you provided to us said that's what it cost? And now you're going to make us the bad guy for calling it out. If it didn't cost that, then why does the paper say that? And why did you give us this paper that says it?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my God. Anyway, way too much to talk about this $30,000 bridge, but it's comical. All right, we have Denise asking about our sewer again. If this doesn't, well, here, let's play.
Moving on. At a previous meeting, it was said there was an option to commence another procurement procedure if the referendum for the sewer fails. Could you explain that, please?
That we could follow that process again.
The same exact process.
That is correct.
Put it out as a referendum once again.
That's correct.
Is there, immediately after, there's no timeline restrictions? So if the voters voted down the following day, you could start all over?
For the next general election, that's it. That could be an option.
Okay, so is that the only option?
Only option no, we're not interested in doing it. What's it called, a WIPA?
Yeah, we're not looking.
A WIPA is when you're saying basically that.
Yeah, I know what it's saying. I'm just asking, is that the only option?
You know what it's saying. Okay.
Yeah, I know what a WIPA is. I don't need it explained. I'm just asking.
Well, I'm trying to respond to you, Ms. Coyne.
I understand, but I'm letting you know I know what it is. You don't need to explain it. I understand it. I'm only asking, is that the only other option?
Yes, for right now.
Okay. What do you mean for right now?
Yes. If it's a WIPA, if our sewer falls in disrepair, that's an option. I don't foresee us doing that, but that is the option. A referendum, yes. If it was defeated, you can go through the whole process for the next general election.
So those are the only two options, referendum or WIPA?
To my understanding. Is that what you understand?
Yes, that's what I understand.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
He had to explain WIPA. That pissed him off that she wasn't allowing him to explain it to her like she was 2. But
well, I guess if you don't know what a WIPA is,
it is what does it stand for? It's like Wastewater Infrastructure Protection Act or something like that. But it's basically when your system is in such bad shape that it's going to be so financially devastating, whatever you want to say, to your town that's the WIPA route. And when I hear them talking about that they don't want to do that and it falls into disrepair, the only thing I can't help but think of is Maffa's farm and them not being able to demolish that building. So instead, they're just going to leave it to rot away kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like the actions that they might take with, there's a lot of maintenance that goes into a sewer system. There's, our MUA is out there constantly working on that. But if this doesn't go through and they just simply kind of like, well, hey, Gabby's in charge. I don't know. She just doesn't send trucks out anymore. System's failing. man, it's going to be really a lot of money because that failed and this failed. And hey, we need to call Remington and Vernick out here to do another report again. And now the report states like, wow,
this is
like
bad.
This is bad. I don't know what happened, but this thing got bad. You know what I mean? Like, there are. I'm just calling it now. If that, you know what I mean?
I think you're spot on, man. Because I think that was the first thing I thought was when I heard about WIPA, and I thought, well, that's next.
Yep,
that's next because they're not going to. They're definitely not going to put it on a referendum next year. Not with the mayor up for re-election.
No.
They're gonna.
They've learned that that's not a good topic for the mayor's election.
If this doesn't pass, they're going to hope that you forget this in November 2025.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to hope that you forget it.
And they just remember Smiley Guy.
Yeah, the Smiley Guy is going to be back, and they're going to hope that you forgot all about it and that you re-elect him again, or if for whatever reason he decides that he was going to move to Florida and he's going to pass the torch on to the next person.
Yeah.
They're going to want you to forget what happened this year. And
yeah, I feel like that whole Moffa Farm thing is just that whole demolition by neglect kind of thing is kind of what they're going to do with the sewer system if this doesn't pass, and then it becomes a WIPA scenario.
It's a really good comparison because that's exactly what's happening over there. Was they couldn't tear that house down because it's historic, but then they said,
well, we're going to do absolutely nothing with it.
We'll throw some tarps on the roof and we'll just let it rot away.
Yeah.
So it's been there for I forget.
Yeah, a long time.
It's been like 2 years, I think, since we've been there, right?
Yeah, but it was in bad shape before we looked at it.
I don't know.
I drove by there the other day, and I was trying to look back to see, like, is it still standing? Is it still there? And it looked like it wasn't there, but then I did see it. It was just the way that the clearing, that I could, the vantage point or whatever you want to say. But, yeah, they're just letting that thing rot away, and hopefully it collapses on itself, and then it's like, oh, well, now we got to get rid of it. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
It's,
now we're just going to, it's just going to be a Wawa. Sorry, yeah.
It's going to be a Wawa.
Mama's Wawa.
But anyway, so that was pretty much those two meeting recaps. While we're thinking about it here, let's just remind you guys to subscribe to the channel. Check us out on gtobserver.com. Find us on Facebook at gtobserver. Make sure you subscribe to the notification buttons. I don't know, anything else for subscribe, Joe? X. Joe likes X. You can find us on there.
Yeah, at Restore GT on X still.
Yeah.
And don't do a whole lot there. I do try to, when I share videos out, I do share them on both platforms.
Yeah.
Most of the time. And I think that's kind of it.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we will see you next time. And thanks for tuning in.
Yep. See you soon, folks.
All right.